Hey guys, Roman Tressa here with Peak Fitness. Today, guys, we're going to talk to you about where the heck I've been. Introduction, guys. I want to talk to you about where I have been these last few months, it seems. I know I keep saying I'm going to put videos out, and I usually have every intention to. But I kind of need to really dive deep into what's going on with Peak Fitness, where I have been, and all this other fun stuff. So let's start from the beginning. First thing that's happened was there's a lot of changes that happened at my house at home, where unfortunately I cannot devote as much time as I want to the Peak Fitness YouTube channel. And I'm still able to. It's just a lot harder. There's situation. Not everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with my family, stuff like that. But things have changed. Another thing that's happened is, as you can see, I'm in another hotel room. That's because of my regular job. Outside of doing this and a couple other things I have going on, I'm always out of town. Always out of town. So because I'm always out of town, anytime I'm home, I try to spend as much time as I can with doing some of my other little hobbies that I have, for devoting a lot of time to my family and spending a lot of time with them, because I'm always out of town. I mean, the last few videos have been me in hotels because that's just what's going on. So that's kind of what else has been happening. I'm just never home, and so in my time to edit videos and everything has been very limited, just because of work, family, and stuff like that. But one of the biggest reasons that you have not seen me on here as often is because I had two major injuries that happened to me end of 2018 and into early to almost mid 2019. The first big injury that happened, and I even did some videos showing you some of the rehab I was doing, was I pulled my glute and hamstring really bad. In fact, that injury was pretty significant to a point where I really couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't do any load bearing or anything, and I actually hurt myself doing a sprint. And I had been doing my mobility drills, I had been stretching and stuff like that, but I hurt myself nonetheless. I may not have been stretching enough, I may not have been doing enough mobility drills, and I ended up injuring myself, and that was one thing. So that kind of took me out for a little while because I have to give my body time to recover. I was still working out though. I was still doing, say, upper body stuff as much as I could, and a lot of that. And then fast forward a few months later, I had a real major injury, and that injury was I blew my left hip out, and it still bothers me today. And to this day, it probably will never get back to 100%. So I injured myself standing up off my couch. That's what happened. I didn't fall, I didn't trip, none of that happened. My injury was simply by me standing up. I don't know what I did. When I actually had to go to the ER for it, or urgent care for it, because that night, because I heard it around like 7 in the evening, that night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. There was no position that you can be in to alleviate pain in your hip. I couldn't find that out. I mean, no matter what position you laid in, if I was laying on my right side, the weight of my leg laying on top of my other leg would hurt my hip. If I was laying on my left side, the weight of my body on my hip hurt. If I was on my back, the position that your pelvis goes in hurt my hip. On my stomach, same thing. There was nothing. I couldn't even let my leg just dangle because the weight of my leg would hurt my hip. There was nothing I can do to get rid of this pain. I mean, the pain was intense to a point. Actually, my wife was having a minor inpatient procedure the next morning, so I took her to the doctor's, let her have her thing, and as soon as they were done there, even though I was supposed to drive her home, she had to drive me to urgent care for my hip, where they did a CT scan. No, not a CT scan. CT scan and a x-rays, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with my hip. I think it's bursitis, you know, is what I'm thinking is because to this day it still hurts. So now when I hurt myself, that legitimately put me out for over 8 months. Um, for about 4 days or 3 days, I couldn't walk. I still had to. I took 2 days off of work and had to go back to work and had to force myself. We're talking sitting in a truck, walking, having to do these repairs that I do for work, getting up and down, excruciatingly painful. I couldn't do anything. You would think, well, then you could do upper body. I couldn't. I couldn't do pull ups because that requires you to engage your core, get your hips and everything tight. Couldn't do that. I couldn't do lat pull downs because you would use your legs to help stabilize you. Couldn't do that. Couldn't do bench presses because, again, you use your legs to help stabilize you. I couldn't do a lot of things because it would just put so much pressure on my hip. Now, after about a week, I could walk and everything just fine. I even went to a sports medicine therapist, and they didn't know what's happened, and you could feel where the pain was at. But if I put weight on it now, normal body weight, I was fine. But if I turn imagine it's your feet. If I turn my hip this way, and then you bring your foot to say like your knee, I can't do that. I still can't do that. That hurts way too much. It's like impingement. So certain like push-ups we would do, like sometimes mountain climbers still hurt. Spider-Man crawls or alligator crawls hurt. Um, I can't go real heavy with squats and everything anymore because of my hips. It hurts. So I literally had to stop almost for a while. I mean, just regular body weight squats would hurt, and it wasn't hurt like, oh, that's sore. We're talking pain, and when you have pain in anything that you do, especially when it comes to health and nutrition and stuff like that, you have to let your body heal. Now, luckily for me, is my eating habits didn't really change too much. It did a little bit because of the living situation I have. I have, you know, um, you know, people. I've been helping out. Now, my eating habits did change a little bit. Not as healthy as it used to be, but that's because, again, my living situation. I'm not going to dive deep into what's happening. That's not my business to tell and stuff like that. So things change, but overall, my eating habits stayed pretty similar. I was still eating like I normally would. I was still eating fairly healthy and stuff. But the problem was because I was no longer exercising like I would, my metabolism did slow down. And I don't know if you've seen a couple previous videos, it looked like I had gained some weight. That's because I did gain some weight. If you look now, you'll see that I'm looking thinner. I've actually lost weight again because I'm back to working out the way I used to for the most part. I did have to make some adjustments to my workouts. And a lot of it now is lighter weights, especially when it comes to my legs, because I have to be careful with my hips. I already have bad knees from the military. I have a bad lower back, but a lot of that was strengthening core, and I fixed it. But my hip is a completely different animal. Your hip, the way it sits in the socket, it doesn't just have two directions. It rotates, right? So there's not a lot of support there for your hip, unlike your knee, where your knee literally only has it's supported on two sides. It can only go in one direction. All right, your hip can go in multiple directions. In fact, if you actually look at my mobility is nowhere near it needs to be either. So if you look at my hips, if I were to have my feet here and I try to turn my feet out like this, or I'll do something like this, my feet, my right leg can go way like this, but my left can only go about 45 maybe. So I have to still work and fix my hip or rehab my hip as much as possible. And a lot of that is probably because I didn't strengthen my hips properly while I was working out. I was doing some workouts, but I wasn't doing enough. So one of the things that I have to do now is it's hard to do it while I'm here, but is I have to work on my hips. So what I'm going to do is when I get back home, I'm going to do a video showing you guys certain things you can do to help strengthen your hips, so that way you won't have this problem that I have, and learn from my mistakes. So I already have bad shoulders, so I have to fix those. There was a couple times in 2019 where I would re-hurt my shoulder, and that's because I popped the AC joints out on your out, and every now and then they just get irritated and inflamed, right? I can be having perfect form, but if I just had that one wrong rep doing a bench press, it would hurt, and I'll be out for like a week doing that. But generally, I can still do, say, sprints or something. Well, like I said, when I hurt my hip, I just couldn't do anything for a while. And so now I had to go back. I had to start all over, almost as if I had never worked out before. So doing different things again, starting out with having to walk. I literally had to start all over, walking every day for a couple of weeks to get my body used to moving and doing things again, followed by just a few full body workouts to get myself ready for working out, and starting slow. So if you're suffered from an injury, you've been out for a while, you need to do that. Don't jump right in. I see a lot of guys do this. In fact, my older brother, who's also a nurse, made this mistake, and I can't remember what it's called, but he worked it out so much that he started causing muscle death. And he didn't work out hard, but his body just wasn't ready for it, so his urine was brown. So the only way you can fix that is to hydrate properly and take in a lot of protein to help repair the muscle. So usually what I usually recommend before any of that happens is get your body moving again, used to it, doing just 3 sets of push-ups of 3 sets of 10, or 3 sets of bench presses of 10 for chest, and doing something like that. We're not concerned about hitting muscle failure. We're not concerned about hitting or whatever. We're not concerned about getting the burn and hitting atrophy and stuff like that. We're not concerned about all that. What we are doing is priming the muscle, getting them engaged and used to working out again. Because trust me, you will be sore the next day if you haven't worked out a long time. You do 3 sets of 10 of 100-pound bench presses, you're going to feel it the next day. You're going to. So I ended up having to start all over again. And it wouldn't be honest of me to sit there and give you guys advice, workouts, and nutrition and stuff like that if I couldn't follow it. Back when I was doing peak fitness, I was following it to a T. But when I got injured, I couldn't do anything for you guys. I can give you some nutritional tips and stuff like that, but those are a dime a dozen. You can find those everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, and Google, and whatever else. So that's kind of what's happened with me. That's where I've been. I don't want to go too long into this video, but just know that I'm coming back. I'm trying to get back in the routine of giving you guys videos regularly, even if that means I got to edit it on my phone and not have my fancy introduction. That way you guys are going to get content again, regular content. Good workouts that you can do at a hotel, at home, and stuff like that. Now, did I work out today? Yes, I did. Did I work out yesterday? Yes, I did. In fact, I'm going to tell you a workout that you can do at home on the very next video, or at a hotel, even if they have zero equipment like this hotel. So that, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, great, hit like button. If you've got any comments or suggestions, leave them down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. With that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.